Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the IWCA show. We are so happy to have Jason York on here. How are you doing, Jason?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Gabe?
I'm doing very well. So you are the vice president of Easy Window Cleaning in Wisconsin. Um,
Correct.
how long have you been in that position with the company?
Uh, I've we've been in operations for officially 22 years, and I guess I'm
Wow.
21 years.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, we're going to pick your brain a little bit on how what that's like being running a business like that in Wisconsin. But the reason why we have you on here is because you are also a past president of the IWCA. You served in 2017 for the most part there, and we want to get a little bit of behind the scenes information on what it's like to be on the board, to be a president, all the work that's involved. But first, let us know a little bit about how you got involved in the window cleaning industry. What was your career like from the beginning to where you are now?
My career started thanks to 9/11. I was in the hotel business for the first time in my life. I was let go, laid off. Been wearing a suit and tie for 17 years, and I had a friend who just started a window cleaning business that needed some help. So I
Mm.
went to work, ditched the suit, probably worn a tie 4 times since. And haven't looked back. Didn't grow up dreaming to be a window cleaner, but there's nothing else I'd rather do. So we just started. It was a busy fall. I helped them out. We formed a partnership over the winter, created what we know today, and yeah, we've had 20 years of positive growth, and one was just a touch off of positive growth. So
Wow. That's really amazing. Very, very cool. How many trucks do you have now?
uh, we have 19 trucks.
Nice.
3 locations. We're opening a fourth in 2023. Yeah, and it all started with a 1966 Chevy pickup and my partner.
Those are awesome stories. Yeah, we love to hear those because we can put ourselves in that. Yeah, I started with what was it, a 91 Nissan Sentra. That was what I used to had a ladder, folded ladder in the back of the trunk, and didn't know if it was going to get me to the next job, but we that's where we started. So
Yep.
very
Yeah.
nice.
Humble beginnings are the best beginnings, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now we did have a chance to talk at the last IWC convention and get to have some lunch with you. That was really nice. Enjoyed getting to know you a little better. You had talked about on the fence of starting it, so I'm glad to hear that you guys are going through with it and that
Yeah,
your growth is taking off.
we've got goals and we just really try to stick to them. We want to open, yeah, we want to keep going. And as you know, even in Arizona and other parts of this world, there's always windows to be cleaned. So it's, just a matter of getting a smart plan together and executing it.
Very good. And how are you with hiring? Like, what do you guys do for hiring? Do you have just kind of a constant campaign out there to find good workers, or do you guys are able to keep employees for a long time, or how's that work?
For the most part, we retention's obviously key. Our average is 6 years. The
Okay,
national,
that's good.
yeah, the national average in any position is 5. So I think we just create a really good culture.
Yeah.
Um, we offer full benefits package right now. We're offering dental, vision, health, 401k. For the level or quality of employee we want to get, we've got to really have a good package.
Sure.
Um, I'd like to say we have some magic and we're able to do something that no one else right now is able to do. No, we still struggle like everyone else to hire, but we're always hiring. You
Nice.
can't stop. You just can't stop. So that's kind of our attitude, and it pays off. We fill the trucks every year. Sometimes we wonder how we're going to do it, and somehow we do it, and it works out, and we continue to grow. So I don't have any magic. We just consistent online presence. Our branding, actually, we probably spend as much in the last couple of years on employee acquisition as we do customer acquisition.
Yes.
You just
And
have to.
yeah, I think when you're your size, that has to just be part of the budget because
Yeah, yeah.
like the acquisition. But I think you hit it on the head with keeping a good culture because you said you don't have any magic, but to me, if you can have a positive culture in a company when you have that many employees, I don't know, that kind of sounds like you're pulling a rabbit out of your hat there to be able to be successful with that for sure.
Yeah, again, it starts with we've been window cleaners, understanding what window cleaners needs, and tamales never hurt, and we try to have.
Very cool. Well, so tell me, how did you get involved with the IWCA? Was this something you did from the beginning, or when did it kind of come on the radar for you as a business owner?
I think we went, and I can't remember the year exactly, but we went to the convention in Reno a long time ago. I want to say maybe 2007 or 10.
Mhm.
And we were really there to get anything we could. A local competitor asked us, "Hey, you going to that convention?" We'd never heard of it. So we signed up. We knew that there were going to be 3 educational tracks in every hour segment. So
Mhm.
3 of us went. We all 3 went in different tracks. We got together at the end of the day and kind of recapped what we learned. And yeah, kind of got hooked ever since with the knowledge and being exposed to tools and ideas from other people from all around the world. That became pretty addictive. So we became regular attendees, which then one day somebody who I'd met at the convention said, "Hey, you should really serve on the board of directors." And I went, "What's that mean?" Before I knew it, I had like 5 or 6 people saying, "Hey, you should serve on the board of directors." And before I even knew what I was accepting, I went, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Mhm.
um,
Wow.
haven't
So
regretted
what
that.
year was that when you got on the board?
It had to be, I want to say 2010 or 11, I'm going to guess.
Okay.
I'm just guessing because I served for, I think, 7 years total.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, probably 2010.
Okay, very good. So you served 2010 through 2017. That's so you were president-elect 2016. Tell me, what first of all, what is the workload as a board member from when you're on the board 2010 to 2016? And then how did that change after you became president-elect and then president thereafter?
The workload as a board member at large is, it's as much as you want to take on, really. Honestly, I've seen people do some pretty tremendous things in their time there. It's a
Mhm.
volunteer job, so unfortunately or fortunately, you get volunteer results in some
Yeah.
cases. Some people work harder than others, just like any workplace. But when you get somebody who's really dedicated, I served with Tanya Weger from Madison Window Cleaning, and she did an amazing job while she was there.
Yeah.
Um, I'd comfortably say she probably put 20 to 30 hours in some years into her board
Wow.
service. Some board members might put 2 to 5 hours a week. I've seen
Mhm.
board members put in up to 30 a week in. It depends on what you're working on and what you believe in and how much you want to get it to the finish line, because it's all about results there. And if you're passionate about a subject and you're working on a project that's involved, you'll put more time in.
Yeah.
As a board member at large, yeah, I was probably a 2 to 5 hour a week person. As
Mhm.
I changed roles and got onto the executive committee and got into the secretary treasurer, that's a little more involved. Um,
Mhm.
you know, when you get to be president, it was a full time job. So
Yeah.
I had 2 full-time jobs while I was president.
Wow.
Uh, and while it was overwhelming, it was probably one of the greatest years of my life,
Nice.
truly. And a lot was because of my presidency and my experience and the things I got to do and the stress I got to endure and the people I got to work with. Worked with a great team, and that in any work environment, whether you're off doing a strip mall, a giant house, or whatever, when you're working with a great team, it makes all the difference in the job and getting the results done.
Yeah, absolutely. No, 100%. And I think whenever you can feel like you're in the trenches with a good quality team, that makes the work or the goal or whatever you accomplish that much more meaningful. And I'm sure with all the work that you put into it, like you said, running essentially 2 full-time jobs, you couldn't help but get close to the people who had your back, and helped you get accomplish the goals that you guys had during your presidency.
Well, and as much as it's a tough year, it's a quick year. It goes by quick. And as president, you want to see all these things get done. And by having that good team dynamic, some of those legacy things can continue to the next person that you're working with, the next president coming in. And the people behind me, the officers that were on my board, they all served as presidents. They all accomplished such great things. And it all really started when they were a board member at large and then moving their way up and using the synergy of the group to really, really do some great things, because everyone is there because they want to be. No one,
Mhm.
no one's there because they need to be, or
Yes,
they're held by
they're
pay.
obligated.
Yep, they're all there because out of choice. And I joke that it was my my expensive hobby that year because there's travel that you got to pay for. It comes out of your own pocket or your business
Yeah.
pocket, and the hotel rooms and meals and, a couple board meetings, and that adds up. And so there is a big financial commitment with that. And I'd have friends who didn't understand. They're like, wait a minute, you're doing all this work and you're paying all your expenses. Like, that's what you do in a nonprofit. That's part of the
Yeah.
package, and it was worth every dime. It was worth every moment, and made a giant impact as me as an individual as well as our business.
I mean, I have such admiration for that because like you mentioned, I mean, you're not getting paid. This is all volunteer. And I don't think everyone appreciates the fact that the work that's involved, it's a job. You're doing this out of just because you want to help the industry. You want to help people be safe. You want to help them get home to their families and have what they need to be successful. Because, I mean, let's face it, most window cleaners, they haven't gone to business school to start their window cleaning business, right? They picked up a squeegee. They learned they can make some pretty good money doing it. And then now 5 years down the road, they're in a business and they're needing to know these important things on how to run a business efficiently, safely. I mean, that was the big attraction to me when I first started coming to the conventions. Was I realized, man, there's so much I don't know, and I need to kind of, I don't have time to go to school to learn. So I've got to figure out how I can get this information. And between the classes, but even more so the networking and the getting to know other business owners who either were, one, in the same position as me, or two, were where I wanted to be, and both of them, I could talk to them, pick their brains, ask for advice. And that just helped me to overcome so many of the business hurdles that I had as a business owner that just started up because I just did. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have any purpose. And the IWCA fits such a beautiful spot in so many window cleaners' lives. And it's all nonprofit. It's just a neat thing. I hope people appreciate that.
Yeah, no, the networking is probably the biggest thing. And the more you get yourself out there, you've done that, Gabe, the more you get out there, the more you learn, because the more you talk to people. And I've heard people say, well, it's just clicky and everyone knows everyone. It's like, well, you got to jump in at one point and start meeting people. Yeah. And once you start meeting people, it snowballs. I know there's a dozen, at least, people that I could call right now to ask advice on anything. Like you said, guys with 200 people in their operation, guys with 2 people in their operation, the manufacturers, I can call somebody and say, hey, I'm having this problem. What do I do? And they'll reach out and give me the help I need. That's the best part of the association as a whole. Once you get in it, once you get involved, once you meet more people, the resources aren't really measurable at that point. They're immeasurable. You get so much information. It's that's why I got involved.
Yeah, exactly. And just to clear, if you're a non-member right now wondering about it, it's not a click, it's a pool. And you, until you jump in, you're not going to really get to know the people in the pool. And I think that's the neatest thing is we, especially in the last few years, the outreach efforts have changed, where they're really trying to get those smaller business owners, the ones who before thought, I don't need to learn all this stuff. I'm just a small guy. And you start to learn that, hey, if you just have a little bit of information, this small little company that you have can provide for your family for a long time. You just got to be smart about it. And you can't be smart until you learn, and talk to the right people.
Yeah, well, you don't know until you know. And how do you know? It's how you learn. And like you said, there isn't a formal university other than Campus IWCA that I'm aware of that formally trains window in safety, and getting exposed to people gets you excited. The best part of the convention, and this as well as I do, is to nerd out on window cleaning with people that enjoy window cleaning
and that know what you're talking about when you say stuff that you don't have to explain yourself.
My first convention, I met a guy from Vegas, ironically enough, and he's like, oh, we were at a first timers event. And he's like, oh, you're from Wisconsin. What do you do in the wintertime not to freeze up? We got below freezing the other day. And I'm like, you put alcohol in your water? Oh my goodness, that guy came up to me 4 times at the convention later. Oh, I really appreciate that tip. That was great. And I'm thinking, well, doesn't everyone know that? No,
Right.
does know that. How do you learn? You just get around people that are smarter than you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I that happened to me so often, especially because, of course, I my business grew in the time before YouTube, before Facebook, before we could network like this, and of course, I had never heard of the IWCA. I didn't know what it was. So it's like you said, I do a job with another window cleaner who had hired me, as a subcontractor on a big project, and I'd see them do something, and I'm like, "What's that? What are you doing?" And it was this little piece of gold. Like for one of them was the dog earing the ends of the brass squeegee, and I had never done that. Looked at one of this guy's squeegee. I was like, "What's that for?" He explained. I did it, and now I've done it. I've done it my
First,
whole time now. Every time I get a brand new channel, that's the first thing I do is dog ear them. And it's just one of those little things that you don't know until you're around other people. It's very rare that you're going to just kind of randomly discover that. So and certainly IWC gives you that opportunity to rub elbows with people who have those little ideas that sometimes can make such a huge difference in your business, for sure.
well, and a good example, that's a great example. It doesn't take somebody running a 400-person window cleaning company to teach you something. It's something small that everyone could pick up and like, oh, hey, suddenly it becomes an industry standard with the one-man operation from Idaho. You just don't know until you're around at that time.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely.
it's a good investment. And I wish more window cleaners would understand it is truly an investment, and the return on that investment's there. It's hard to find another tool for window cleaning that's going to give you a better return on your investment.
Yeah, very, very true. Yeah. And also man, the IWC has really worked hard to bring prices down.
Mhm.
I remember there was a time where it truly was out of my reach. I mean, it might as well have been, hey, buy a new car or go to the or go to the IWC convention. But for now they've really done as much as they can including tiers for different size businesses.
Yep.
Giving scholarships out when they can. These types of things are just show that they want the smaller businesses to benefit from these tools. They're not limited just to the big companies or to the huge successful companies, or they want to reach out to even the small single owner operator. Maybe they have two techs, or just two trucks. They want them to benefit, because when they succeed, the whole industry succeeds, and
Yeah.
that's really what it's about.
Well, they're an example of the industry. The industry comes in all shapes and sizes.
Yes.
When I started on the board, there weren't a lot of residential people on the board, and that became one of my missions, is to get more residential people involved with our association, because it isn't just about high-rise guys and large companies. It's about every type. Do we have to have that curriculum and that? Oh, absolutely. But let's face it, in most communities, they aren't all giant window cleaning companies that are operating. They're mostly smaller companies that are operating. So I think the current board is a good representation of our industry, and there's a little of everything. And it could be. So yeah, that's been an evolution, I think, with the IWCA as well. People always perceived it as all big companies and high rise, and it's not. It's a mix.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jason, it's been wonderful talking with you, man. I look forward to seeing you at the next convention. We'll have to grab lunch again like we did last time and catch up. But thank you so much for all your work you've done on the board in the past, and also your term as a president. We appreciate all that hard work, and that you're still active as a member. Always look forward to seeing you at the conventions and the work that you do.
Likewise, I'll see you in Vegas, Gabe.
All right, man. Well, thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed it, and you guys take care and have a great weekend.